So, back for another VGC guide, and this time we are looking at all of the Rotoms. This one sucks. Don't use this one. Now let's move on to the actual Rotoms. So, Rotom-Fan to start off with. So, Electric Flying is a very nice typing. A little bit of redundancy with the Levitate, but that's fair enough. So you should definitely go with Terra Electric as your typing for Rotom, because then you are going to be getting rid of your flying typing. Then it is no longer redundant with Levitate, and then you have no weaknesses. All of the Rotoms can very justifiably run Terra Electric as their Terra typing. I'm going to give recommendations for other ones because I have Terra Blast on most of the sets, but otherwise Terra Electric is just a generally good choice. You get very good coverage here. Thunderbolt, Discharge, and Volt Switch are all going to be very good electric type attacks. And then you've got Air Slash as your coverage. I don't think you particularly need Terra Blast on this one. So this would be perfectly fine. I'm going to recommend the same EV spread for every single Rotom because they have the same stats. So the bulk on this is just dumped. So that it's just basically as close to max HP as possible while still being a Citrus Berry number because some of the sets have Citrus Berry. It's able to hit the bump for the special attack stat, and it also outspeeds an Adamant Tyranitar, Jolly Tyranitar. So, outspeeds all the Tyranitars. That's what the spread's going to do. Unfortunately, there's no room to split the fours, because then you sacrifice your little bump here. So, I would say that this is probably one of the better ones to go with, rather than splitting the fours. So, yeah, I'm going to recommend this EV spread for every single Rotom, because it does basically the same thing. It outspeeds Jolly Titar and hits the bump with special attack, dumped HP, which is basically max, which is what it wants. So, yeah, either Choice Specs or Citrus Berry. That's going to be a theme for all the Rotoms. You want Choice Specs, or you want Citrus Berry. Other items are probably not as worth, because Citrus Berry helps patch up your low HP, but Choice Specs patches up your slightly lower special attack, so you do actually do some serious damage. But Nasty Plot can do that as well. Nasty Plot is a very good setup move. Rotom does have the bulk to be able to make use of it, so they can go for a Nasty Plot and then just start spamming some very strong attacks that will get some KOs at that point. Will-O-Wisp is a very good move on Rotom. It's a very good move just in VGC to being able to cripple the physical attackers. So if you outspeed a T-Tar, then you can Will-O-Wisp it before it attacks you and Rock Slides you, so that's going to be very nice. Also Protect is a good move. So basically, on the Citrus Berry ones, I would recommend Thunderbolt, Air Slash, and then one of two of Nasty Plot, Protect, and Will-O-Wisp. Because you don't have to set up with the Rotom. The Will-O-Wisp is perfectly fine, just be able to be a bit more defensive. And if you just want a defensive, you can just go with Choice Specs instead. That's going to be the theme of these Rotoms. So it should be reasonably quick to get through the rest of them, because I'm recommending Choice Specs on this Rotom-Frost. But Terra Water, because Terra Water has some very good coverage with the Electric and Ice, which is already like perfect coverage. So Terra Blast is a bit more defensive for the Rotom as well. Going to be very nice for it there. So Choice Specs is going to be a good item on the Rotom-Frost, but Assault Vest is also a very good item to have on Rotom-Frost as well, because then you can pair this one with Snow. It gets the Snow defense boost, which you can stack onto the Assault Vest as well on your special side, so actually Rotom-Frost becomes quite bulky indeed with the Assault Vest. I probably wouldn't recommend Assault Vest for the other ones, mainly for the Rotom-Frost because it has that potential of getting the defense boost. So the other option on the Assault Vest, I actually had it already here, but yeah, the other option on the Assault Vest would be Volt Switch over Discharge. Just depends on if you have something to discharge next to, or if you just want that pivoting action. I'd probably lean towards Discharge myself, but it depends on what you have to discharge next to yourself. Choice Specs is what I recommend on Rotom. So then you get to have Terra Blast, Fairy as your coverage, because you're not hitting dragons with Electric and Fire. So going for the hitting dragons is one of the more important ones, because you're hitting most things with Electric and Fire, and the things that it doesn't hit, it either hits neutrally or super effectively with Fairy. So that's going to be probably one of the better types to go with Rotom. If you're not going with Electric, again, Electric is still one of the better typings for Rotom, but then if you do that, then just have Volt Switch over Discharge, and that'll be fine as well. Outspeeds a Jolly Titar, hits the bump, and dumped into HP. Same thing. Also, Citrus Berry can still do the same thing. Choose two of the three. Nasty Plot, Will-O-Wisp, or Protect. Rotom-O, I recommend Choice Specs. Going to be the same thing. Fairy hits the dragons. You got Leaf Storm as your coverage. Outspeeds a Jolly Titar, and all that. But also Citrus Berry, and then you can choose Nasty Plot, Will-O-Wisp, or Protect, or Protect, I should say, because it's two of the three. Rotom Wash, I recommend Choice Specs. So then, again, Fairy hits the dragons. All three of those can't hit dragons unless you're having a Terra type that does hit Fairy. So, not hit Fairy, hits Dragon. So Fairy would be one of the better ones for that one. Again, all could be Electric. And also, this one is perfectly fine as well. Or do you want Protect? So, basically the same thing for all the Rotoms, except you got the different coverage move. basically. Slash maybe a different Terra typing, but mainly Fairy for these ones, and then the other one was Water and or Electric. But these are some other moves that you could potentially have on the Citrus Berry set. Like I said, Protect over Will-O-Wisp or Nasty Plot is perfectly fine. Eerie Impulse and Will-O-Wisp is a good combination, because then you get the damage control on both sides. Helping Hand would be a good one if you don't feel the need to set up. I wouldn't recommend Nasty Plot and Helping Hand. I'd probably have Will-O-Wisp and Helping Hand instead. And then Volt Switch was just there because on the Assault Vest ones I generally recommend a Discharge, but Volt Switch is perfectly fine to have over either Discharge or Terra Blast. Either is fine. But basically, all the Rotoms are going to do very similar things, but with just different typing and different coverage. So, Choice Specs and Citrus Berry are generally the best ones, except for this exception of the Assault Vest. But yeah, generally Choice Specs so you can hit hard, or Citrus Berry so you can be bulkier, and potentially set up so you can hit harder than Choice Specs. So, yeah, that's going to be quite straightforward for the Rotoms because they all do similar enough things with the same stats that they should just basically just have their different coverage slash their different typing.